Well, this is all going to be a tough act to follow because I'm not an expert.
Sorry, name and address.
My name is Janet Engeman. I'm a resident. I live at 152 West Prospect Avenue, right on the proposed route for the 12-inch 400 PSI pipeline that Columbia Gas wants to run between Penn State's East Power Plant and Penn State's West Power Plant. In this plan we've all heard about to convert the West Plant from coal to natural gas. The decision to use the route through a borough neighborhood for a pipeline that will benefit only the university and place homes, schools, and houses of worship in potential harm's way is ill-considered, irresponsible, and dangerous. I believe that the utility has a right to reasonable use of the right-of-way. I do not believe that this is reasonable use. The University and Columbia Gas have shown a callous disregard for input from people and institutions in the affected part of town. From my vantage point, there has been a total lack of transparency about the plans for this project. From my perspective, there was no consultation with the community even after the project was all but fait accompli. And this project has no benefit to the borough. There was no environmental impact report, there was no public notice, there was no public hearing, there was no effective process to alert the affected citizens. There supposedly was a meeting in October. I never heard about that meeting, and I was unaware of the notice being given to the Highlands Neighborhood Association. That October meeting was attended by only a few people, and I suspect that some of them didn't really understand the magnitude of what they were being told about, since one question reportedly asked at that meeting was, "Are they going to put the speed bumps back when they repave the streets?" I personally first heard about the project when a neighbor showed up on my front porch in the middle of March and told me about the pipeline and its route directly by my house, a mere 25 feet from my front porch. Now, I've heard all the folks from the University and Columbia Gas that are involved in pushing this project through insist that all rules, regulations, and safety standards have been met. They assure the media that the pipeline is state-of-the-art and designed to be impervious to accidents. Nothing is impervious to accidents. That's why most large high-pressure gas pipelines run through rural areas, and as a consequence, statistics for human casualties are relatively low. Industry standards for pipeline setbacks, when met, also minimize casualties. In this case, even the most minimal recommendation of a 65-foot setback has been ignored. Prospect Avenue is narrow, with competing water, sewer, storm sewer, and gas lines that require digging for maintenance. The Titanic was supposed to be state-of-the-art and unsinkable, and we all know what happened after its unexpected encounter with an iceberg. The limestone base of this community is riddled with sinkholes. I've been told that the experts believe that this pipeline would not be affected by a sinkhole. Really? How can we be sure? Also, this area has experienced an earthquake in the past 2 years. That event caused major damage to Mount Nittany Medical Center, which was under construction at the time. The damage resulted in a fissure in the floor of the emergency wing and produced a gap in the outside wall you could put your hand through to the outside world. In that same event, the Imperial Towers apartment building on Wapelani Drive was also damaged, and the tenants in apartments of all 5 floors on one corner of the building had to be relocated until several months of repairs had been done to make those units safe again for occupancy. The proposed pipeline route runs right between those 2 places that sustained earthquake damage. What might happen the next time the environment decides to shake things up a bit? Who will guarantee that it won't crack the pipeline and cause the natural gas to seep into the Highlands neighborhood? As we've been told, the best-case scenario would be an immediate fire. But were a leak to continue long enough for gas to accumulate in the street, say it happened at night, all it would take would be a spark from a car's ignition or a cigarette butt carelessly pitched into the gutter to set off a devastating explosion. Just yesterday, a gas leak closed a section of Park Avenue for 13 hours. This weekend in Arkansas, a tar sand pipeline ruptured, flooding a neighborhood with gunk. I'm sure those pipelines were thought to be safe. In 2012 alone, there were more than 40 natural gas pipeline accidents in the U.S.
Please start wrapping it up.
I am very close to the end. So as I said earlier, nothing is foolproof. If an accident, however unlikely, were to occur with the 12-inch 400 PSI pipeline through our community, we wouldn't lose a few cows in a cornfield. We would lose homes, schools, houses of worship, and who knows how many lives. Did the bean counters take into consideration the fact that this cheaper route would cost more if there were to be an accident, resulting in millions of dollars in damage and lawsuits. Penn State should assume its own risk and route the pipeline through its own land. We have a borough charter that includes the Community Bill of Rights that was passed by 72% of our community. This Penn State pipeline project violates the law as upheld by that charter. Our borough council should do its job, refuse to violate the law, and refuse to sign the permit for this project.
Thank you.
Mr. Collins, please step forward.